about 15 seconds away from the separation burn. This will be a 15-second firing of 2 of the thrusters on the Soyuz.
Depot firing confirmed.
And the sep burn is underway. Separation burn being conducted.
Depot.
And the separation burn complete and good.
No longer illuminated. 15 seconds duration. Standing by for ODR via KRL at 0247. Copy. Copy, closeout operations on NCC go.
Down the longitudinal axis of the Russian segment of the International Space Station at the crosshairs, that's the ISS Progress 49 vehicle, which will remain attached to the aft end of the Zvezda service module for about a month. Soyuz Commander Oleg Novitsky with the call sign of Kazbek will now
on either. Repress is also
put commands into the onboard computer to initiate the descent mode, basically the load of software on the Soyuz computers that govern descent operations.
Copy. Closeout ops are in work per page 97. Copy, standing by.
So once again, undocking occurring on time at 6:43 p.m. Central Time.
Is no longer on.
As the International Space Station and the Soyuz TMA-06M spacecraft pass 254 statute miles over northeastern Mongolia. This view basically showing some of the control panel displays, the same thing that Oleg Novitsky is seeing in the center seat of the descent module, flanked on his left by board engineer Yevgeny Tarelkin, and on his right by NASA flight engineer and Expedition 34 commander Kevin Ford. The trio now backing away at a gradual fashion from the International Space Station. Their deorbit burn scheduled 2 hours 23 minutes from now. Touchdown on the steppe of Kazakhstan 3 hours 16 minutes from now. As the Soyuz backs away from the International Space Station, reports from Kustanay, Kazakhstan, indicate that the folks who did not fly down to the forward staging city of Arkelik in the wee hours on Friday, but who are now headed for the Kustanay airport to board their helicopters. And again, they will be taking off at about 8:05 p.m. Central Time, some hour and 15 minutes from now, for the 2-hour flight down to the landing site to join other helicopters already pre-staged in Arkelik to form a racetrack pattern around the landing zone and greet the returning Soyuz vehicle and its 3 crew members.
Go for command descent. Suspects, please keep reporting.
This is Mission Control Houston as the Soyuz vehicle continues to move away from the International Space Station. This radar image shows the current conditions at the landing site in central Kazakhstan. The circle representing the landing target for the Soyuz TMA-06M. The landing scheduled to occur at a coordinate of 50.39 degrees north latitude, 67.20 degrees east longitude, some 36 miles northeast of Arkelik. And as you can see from the current radar, it is severe clear in the early morning hours, the pre-dawn hours in Kazakhstan. The weather forecast calling for some scattered clouds at about 1,000 feet at the landing site, one broken deck of clouds at about 25,000 feet, light winds out of the southeast at 7 miles an hour, but frigid temperatures about 15 degrees Fahrenheit forecast at landing time with a wind chill factor of about 4 degrees Fahrenheit. The landing to take place an hour and 23 minutes after local sunrise.
Pressure NSR, we gave you from the right control panel. On the left, it's 790. Please repeat your last statement. What are you talking about for the next compass? We'll be ready.
Now back with a view from the balcony camera overlooking the space station flight control room at the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov outside Moscow. Those folks in control of tonight's operation. The Russian search and recovery forces are poised to deploy from various locations to descend on the landing site to the northeast of Arkelik. Most of those recovery forces spent the night, their time, during the day, U.S. time, in Arkelik at a hotel. They will be making their way to the Arkelik airstrip to board their respective helicopters for about a 30-minute flight to the landing site, while the remaining search and recovery team members will depart Kustanay in about an hour and 10 minutes or so for a 2-hour flight down to the landing site to join their other search and recovery force colleagues. The NASA delegation for the landing team in Kazakhstan this evening, Saturday morning Kazakhstan time, is led by Mike Serber, who's the Director of Human Spaceflight Operations in Russia. He is joined by the Deputy International Space Station Program Manager for Utilization, Joel Montalbano, the Chief Astronaut for NASA's Astronaut Office, Bob Bankin. There is a team of flight surgeons obviously involved. The lead flight surgeon for Kevin Ford is Dr. Dave Alexander. They are also joined by NASA Public Affairs Officer Josh Byerly and NASA's chief photographer out of NASA headquarters, Bill Ingalls. With the departure of Ford, Novitsky, and Tarelkin as they are poised for their homecoming and a landing just over 3 hours from now in Kazakhstan, the International Space Station is back down to a 3-man crew for the next 2 weeks in what is known in space station parlance as indirect handover. This is the interim period where the station crew is down to 3 crew members. The commander of the International Space Station, now officially Expedition 35, is Canadian Space Agency astronaut Chris Hadfield. He took over command of the station from Kevin Ford on Wednesday, and now as commander, the official start of Expedition 35 occurring just a few minutes ago with the undocking of the Expedition 34 crew. Hadfield's crewmates in the center of this crew portrait, Russian cosmonaut Roman Romanenko. On the left, NASA flight engineer Tom Marshburn. 2 weeks from now, they'll be joined by 3 new crew members who will be launched in the Soyuz TMA-06M spacecraft from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. Additional trio of Expedition 35 crew members will be led by Soyuz Commander Pavel Vinogradov in the center. On the right, to Vinogradov's left in this crew portrait is Russian flight engineer Alexander Mazurkin, and on the left in this picture is NASA flight engineer Chris Cassidy. They will launch in the pre-dawn hours of March 29th from the Baikonur Cosmodrome on a fast-track, expedited 4-orbit, 6-hour transit to the International Space Station. That single-day launch-to-docking activity will begin with a launch at 3:43 p.m. Central Time on Thursday, March 28th, which will be 2:43 a.m. Baikonur time on March 29th, 6 hours later arriving for a docking to the same Poisk module docking port that the Expedition 34 crew just vacated.
Kazbek, on the next orbit, we'll upload the set points and turn on the accelerometer activation. Okay. And atmospheric pressure will be given later, right? Yes. That will be closer to the descent. We'll give you the latest data by then. Copy. So we're done with page 100. Go into page 102.
Все верно.
Affirmative.
Ну, где-то у вас час есть.
You have about 1 hour, guys, to